Hi, I'd like to spend a few minutes now, just providing you with some quick insights into how AASB 15 applies in terms of revenue recognition and seeing how this manifests in the financial report for Virgin Australia in the 2019 annual report. I think that it's interesting looking at the Virgin financial report for this because whilst most of us probably think of Virgin as providing a single product, flights, that's actually not quite correct in terms of the new accounting standard. The new accounting standard recognises that Virgin provides a bundled product. They provide, when they sell you a ticket, they provide you a current flight, and that's what we're probably focusing on the most when we buy a ticket. But they're also selling you, associated with that flight, there are some frequent flyer points. And so what we actually have now is a bundled product, and Virgin is required to allocate the revenues between the two separate products, and the revenue recognition will be potentially quite different and will reflect when the revenue recognition criteria are met for each of the revenue streams. In relation to the tickets which are being sold for the flight in the immediate future, you can see that airline passenger revenue, they're saying, is typically made in advance, and when the payment is received, it is recognised as unearned revenue in the statement of financial position. And when people take the flight, the revenue recognition criteria are satisfied, and that allows them to recognise the revenue into the statement of profit or loss. The frequent flyer points that are associated with that flight are a separate or bundled product, and we can see here that the proceeds that are received from customers, the amounts that are received from customers are allocated between the ticket and the frequent flyer points on the basis of the standalone prices. So quite obviously, with Virgin selling their frequent flyer points to associated entities, credit card companies, banks and the like, that provides them with a separate price for those frequent flyer points, and that allows them to allocate the total revenues between the two separate products, the flight and the frequent flyer points. In relation to the frequent flyer points, you can see that the revenue is deferred until the benefits are taken up by the customer, and at that point in time the revenue is recognised and the expense associated with the provision of those benefits is recognised as well. We can see how this now manifests in the statement of profit or loss, and this is actually quite interesting because they show you separately the revenues that are recognised for passengers, $5.3 billion, and for the loyalty program, $383 million. In the statement of financial position, they have to report the unearned revenue, and you can see at the end of the year this amount to $1.262 billion of unearned revenue. And if you follow this through to the notes, you can see that of this $1.2 billion, $746 million related to passenger revenue or flights, and $497 million related to the frequent flyer program. I think these numbers are actually quite interesting because if you compare the unearned passenger revenue to the total passenger revenue recognised in the period, you could probably say that on average people are paying for their flights less than 2 months in advance. So generally speaking, people are taking flights and paying for flights and using them pretty much straight away, so this isn't generating much unearned revenue. However, in relation to the frequent flyer point amounts which are recognised as unearned revenue, this represents greater than 1 year's worth of actual revenue recognised. So you can see that the unearned revenue relating to the frequent flyer program is being carried forward for quite extensive periods of time. And that tells you something about the programs and I think the way that they operate. You must sometimes wonder why you bother having the points, because it's the benefits that you never get. Anyway, that's just my view. But I do think it's an interesting annual report to look at, just because it does very much highlight how the new standard AASB 15 applies. And I think it also is interesting because it shows that transactions that business have with their customers are often a lot more complex than we realise, and that Virgin, when they sell you a ticket, are actually selling a bundled product. rather than just a single product, which is probably the way that most of us think about it in the